And with that, it is absolutely my excitement and my privilege and my pleasure to say Happy Indigenous Peoples Celebration, beautiful people. Tomorrow is Indigenous Peoples Day. And so I have taken the liberty of making that the central hub of our celebration today, and I am excited. I am Reverend Vicky Jeter, your minister for Louisville Center for Spiritual Living, and we welcome you here on this Sunday, October 12th, 2025. We welcome all paths to God. We welcome your challenges and your questions. All pieces and paths of spirit, all areas of life, and all parts of ourselves are essential to a world that works for all beings. So whether you're here with us for the first time or if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you for being with us today, because you are why we're here. Now, just because I have been told everyone would want to know, today is the day that 29 years ago, Vernon and I were married. Now, for an opportunity for going into opening prayer, just take a moment to check in and see for yourselves what brought you to be with us today. What's been on your mind and heart personally, what's been on your mind and heart for the world. There is so much going on. And there isn't anything particular today other than Indigenous Peoples Week that I'm aware of to be named. So just take a moment and imagine that we have the opportunity. We're not actually going to take this physically, but just imagine we're able to name into the space the things that we all see as being warranting prayer. And as I'm saying this, I realize actually there is apparently a peace deal happening between Israel and Palestine. And so praise God for that and everything that can come with it. And so we take that pausing breath, drop into the space for affirmative prayer, that gap of grace between the in-breath of receiving and the out-breath of releasing and blessing. That point of stillness is first cause, where there is zero separation between ourselves and our source. And it is from that place that I open this time with thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Presence of Life, for the gift of life, for this phenomenal opportunity that we have to have our individual expressed experience and our collective sharing of it. That is so powerful as a field of love, as a field of compassion, as a field of peace and joy, and an expansiveness that says, yes, we can learn to be multicultural. We can learn how to live beyond the traces of racism and sexism and all of the isms that have been shouting at us and are inviting us to raise our consciousness higher. And so today I simply say yes to all of this and more in light of the many perspectives in this room right now, the many cultures, the many histories, the many stories, choosing to honor them all in spirit. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God. I release it, I let it be, and so it is. And of course, this brings us to our opening song, In the Land of I Am, with Jennifer Burnett and the Mile High Choir.
and disgraced, abused and displaced, been robbed and disgraced, abused and misplaced, been lied to, but lies can be seen through in the land. You can't fall from grace in the land. You cannot be heard in the land. There's more than enough in the land. You're always at home, always at home, always at home, always at home, always at
Speaking our word from the I am that I am of each one of us. The mission of Louisville Center for Spiritual Living is to teach personal transformation as a virtual community, living the principles of science of mind and celebrating all paths to God, which manifests our vision of a world that honors and respects all people. So, bringing us into our applications of principle, first we have our application of financial freedom. Today is abundance. Say with me, if you choose. I believe that my awareness of oneness with God is the source of my abundance. Therefore, this awareness is my abundance. And our application that is dovetailed to the actual message of the day, the combined intelligence of humanity could not create the life of a plant, yet the intelligence in the creative soil of the earth will produce as many for us as we ask when we plant the seed of that which we wish to have created. And that is by our beloved Dr. Ernest Holmes from The Science of Mind, page 91. And with that, it is my great joy to turn this over to Miss Tammy Evans, our practitioner of the week for sacred reading and meditation.
Good morning. I feel like I've been away as practitioner of the week for a minute, so I'm glad to be back with you all. A reading from Braiding Sweetgrass, Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teaching of Plants by Robin Wall Kimmerer. All around us, the world is offering gifts. The moss cushions the stones with tenderness. The maple gives its sugar. The wind carries songs of pollen and promise. Every being knows how to give, and in that giving, life is sustained. We have forgotten sometimes how to listen. how to recognize a language of generosity spoken in petals, rivers, and roots. But the earth remembers still. She waits patient as the dawn for us to remember that we are not separate from her, but one small shining part of her dreaming. Sweetgrass teaches us this, to bend with gratitude, to braid together heart, hand, and earth, to take only what is given and to give back in return, a song, a prayer, a promise of care. Let us walk gently, honoring the exchange of breath between us and the trees. Let us give thanks for the gifts we did not earn and the beauty that asks nothing in return. For when we live in gratitude, we come home again to the circle of belonging, the sacred braid of life. Now, as we get ready for today's meditation, get comfortable in your seat, hands on your lap, feet flat on the floor. Take a deep breath in, slowly letting it go. Settle into your body. Feel the weight of yourself resting on the earth. Notice how she holds you, steady, patient, alive. Let your breath become the bridge between you and this living world. With each inhale, feel the air, ancient and sacred, entering your lungs. This air has touched mountains, rivers, forest, and the hands of those who came before us. With each exhale, offer gratitude for the ancestors, the teachers, and the wisdom that has endured. Today, we honor the first peoples of this land, the original stewards, who understood that the earth is not something that we own, but someone we belong to. Their stories remind us that every tree, every stone, every river is spirit. Every breath we take is part of an unbroken circle. Pause here. Listen. Beneath the hum of modern life, can you feel the heartbeat of the land? It's the same pulse that guided those who walked these paths long before us. And the rhythm of gratitude, reciprocity, and respect. Take another deep breath in. And as you do, imagine roots extending from your feet down into the soil beneath you, connecting us to each other and to the land on which we stand, to its memory, its medicine, its story. With each exhale, send love and gratitude to the indigenous people who care, whose care and wisdom still flow through rivers, the songs, and the language of this land. May we listen deeply. May we walk gently. May we honor our shared belonging. Now breathe in peace. The peace that comes from knowing you are part of something ancient and vast. Breathe out love. The love that restores balance, justice, and connection. Let your final breaths be prayers for healing where there has been harm, for remembrance where there has been forgetting, and for gratitude for all that still endures. When you're ready, bring your awareness back to this moment. Feel the earth beneath you, alive and generous as ever. Carry this sense of connection into your day, walking in respect, walking in beauty, walking in gratitude. Namaste. Now it's time for a special music. It is Great Spirit by Nako Bear.
Great Spirit, I have had it. Bring me back to the nomadic way of weaving through the damage. Mindful, stay mindful. Great Spirit, for my sisters, let me be a flowing river. Flood the banks, the rocks that bind her. Carry, I'll carry. Great Spirit, great Spirit. Great Spirit, for my brothers, let me be a mountain under which he climbs to discover his process. Now that's progress. Great Spirit, all that hinders, tie reminders to my fingers. I must speak with you more often. Great Spirit. Oh, great Spirit. Great Spirit, for my relations, give them strength to face racism in every single situation. Easy now, go on, speak loud. Great Spirit, take me instead. Guide me down the road of red and Kashala. I am saying, praying, great Spirit. Great Spirit. Tinkashala. Sunkashala. 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 system collapse. Nothing but the earth will last, and I'll be singing sweetly into the darkness. Now hark, this great spirit on my tongue. Be still, be still. The time will come when everyone will sing. All life is sacred while I'm waiting. Great spirit, my fist is up, bringing the power to the people, your reflection of us. Some of your people can't hear it, the cries of the earth. Some of your people can't feel it, the way that it hurts, and it hurts. Great spirit, and it moves, great spirit, interconnected in the wreckage of a paradigm on its way out, its way out. Speaking of spiritual, lyrical testimonies, spirit of lyricists, weaving around false prophecies, spirit directed and selective with the message I bring. While the ship slowly sinks, I've been directed to sing. I'm like a wrecking ball, breaking down the walls of the past. A minimalist, living on bliss with the last of my cash. You're gonna be justified with how you treated the land. You're gonna be by my side when I stand and demand a change. Chinkashala, 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 Chinkashala. Great spirit, great spirit, great spirit, Tinkashala. Great spirit, Tinkashala.
I want to open this message and close this message with the gift that Tammy gave us. May we listen deeply. May we walk gently. May we respect our shared belonging. That is the pearl of this entire message. The title of this message is The Holy Land is Everywhere. Taking another breath, I want to begin by asking Vernon to bring up our next slide. Just embellish the pauses. The pauses are really potent, allowing everything to sink in. This is Old Tehiko. Tehiko is 9,550 years old. Tehiko stands deep in the wilderness of the Fulushahalat mountain in Sweden. Sweden, possibly on the border of Norway. Oh, no, not on the border of Norway. It is a lone Norway spruce. It is an ancient survivor that began its life 9,550 years ago, just after our last ice age. Tahiko was discovered by a geologist, Leif Kullerman, in 2004, and it holds the title of the oldest known living tree on Earth. And I'm thinking, you guys, probably the oldest known living being on Earth as a singular lifetime that's still here. Its visible trunk is only a few centuries old because the cycles of it go down into the earth after hundreds of years. It dies back in regrowth. However, the root system they have verified actually goes back all 9,550 years. Back that takes it back to about 7,550 before the era of the Christ. Long before the construction of the pyramids, the rising of any of human civilizations as we understand them, long before any invention of writing. Just imagine what this ancient tree has witnessed. The rising and the falling of the sea levels, the migration of countless species of beings on this earth, the ever-changing ecosystems, the millennia of how the actual, storms and everything circle around the earth. This tree has seen them all. Can you imagine the stories that this tree could tell us? All cultures, all across the earth. What a mind-boggling, heart-expanding gift to know that this entity is still here. Honoring all of the ecosystems through this particular image. Today, we're going to be talking about human cultures, etc., but they all are a part of it. They all matter. The plants, the animals, the insects, all of it. This month's theme, as you know, is Glow Up, and we are invited to continue the deeper exploration and practice at living what we believe. The topic title today is The Holy Land is Everywhere, celebrating the innate spirit and wisdom of the indigenous peoples of North America, and it is an opportunity for all of us to reveal and express our personal spiritual wisdom path, which is so greatly held in the cultures that run through who and how we are, our ancestors, the things that we were taught coming up in our families, our traditions. So I want to encourage all of us to remember that every person born on this planet has a genetic heritage that is indigenous and native to some land on the earth, according to our ancestors. So this is a time to honor all our relations, which is actually a phrase that comes out of most Native American cultures. Any of you who have ever done sweat lodge or been in the presence of people that are doing powwow or Sundance and the various types of celebrations that the indigenous people of North America have, they will say, all our relations, it's like a namaste. So, just for example of how to think of it for yourselves, not that you can't come up with this on your own, but I just want to give an example from my life. My people are mostly Czechoslovakian and Scottish. And as I learned more about those cultures and history, it helped me understand a great deal about my body type and my tendency to be pragmatic and some other things as well. But these are the things that really stand out for me because I'm like a spitting image of my paternal grandmother, and my paternal grandmother's body was almost exactly like mine. And as I age, I look more and more like her, which actually I take as a great compliment because she was quite a stalwart woman. And before I took the time to really look into Czechoslovakian culture, particularly, I didn't necessarily understand why I'm so short and stocky and built the way that I am, which a lot of people have asked me about with my disability, because it tends to make me look rather ungainly when I'm walking sometimes. But understanding that this is a part of my culture and my genetic history, I really appreciate that. And my tendency to be pragmatic. The Czechoslovakian people were very pragmatic people. They are still pragmatic people. And so the long-term potency of generational history, experiences, wisdom, the traumatic impacts that cultures have been through truly cannot be overstated. The more we can come to appreciate and understand that, like the waves of energy that we talk about, that we cultivate on a daily basis around us, and how that impacts what comes to us and moves through us, this is true historically. It carries on like an ocean of things that have happened, and those waves move through us. And the more we understand of the signatures of those feelings and different thoughts and dreams that we might have that come out of generational things, then we understand more what to do about it and how to help it work for us, rather than necessarily feeling exhausted because we don't know where all that energy is coming from. So knowing and discovering who we are and where and what we've come from can make all the difference in where the quality of our lives is now and where we're going and how we're going to get there, particularly with regard to how we do it collectively. And this is true equally in our personal lives and for humanity at large. So today, we're going to investigate discovering your personal wisdom path just a bit. And then we're going to share one current story of a contemporary Native American who shares his personal spiritual wisdom path as an example. So before we look at that, what are the elements of a spiritual wisdom path? This information is coming today from a combination of a ministerial class that I took called Speaking Earth. It was one of the very last classes they offered. I was so grateful because it is a powerful, powerful collage collective of the elements that our culture has been, our society has been missing. I say our culture, I meant to say our society has been missing, about how to get back to living from the knowing that the earth doesn't belong to us, as Tammy so eloquently stated for us. The earth doesn't belong to us. We belong to the earth. And as I investigated that and I began to understand my own spiritual wisdom path, I began to realize that we can all get back there in very simple ways daily. Once you begin to collect and recognize what would be on your personal spiritual wisdom path, you can begin bringing those things together. I'm going to give a little bit more examples of that. And then once we've talked about that a little bit more, the story that I have to share today comes out of the life of a young man named Eric Hernandez, who is a member of the Lumbee Indian tribe of North Carolina. I had never heard of the Lumbees, and they're actually quite significant because they are a society of Native Americans who are still vying for recognition as, not as their own state or anything, but as a nation state, the Lumbee Indian tribe. And they're making progress. They're almost there. They've been acknowledged in various different segments of what that would mean, but not quite yet totally. And it's quite a story, which we're not going to be able to get into all today. But if you want to look into this a little bit more and think about the passion that has gone into the importance of this, you can look up the Lumbee Indian tribe. That's Lumbee. And give me just a second. I want to see. I'm going to come up here to where I'm going to have Vernon pull up another slide or two. Not yet. I'm going to do it right before I show his story. So as I looked into my personal wisdom path, the first thing I considered and wrote out were my goals and values for being a human being in harmony with both spirit and Mother Earth. So if you think about that, it's like there's all kinds of ways we look at our goals and values. Sometimes maybe we don't spend enough time on values overall, period. But I'm inviting you to consider what your goals and values are in relationship to your history and your living on Mother Earth. My path goals were to embody and live from the wisest aspects of my being as an ongoing practice, which encompasses speech and discourse of place, nature elements, and earth, which is to say that my relationship to the spoken word is very important to me as a writer and as a speaker. And um, and by living this, for me, it opened up more of my personal understanding of my own vision and mission, like we've talked about, you know, what's your calling, what is your mission and vision in your daily life or in your larger life. And then also looking at my values, I discovered that a primary value for me personally is my serenity. My serenity is probably the most valuable thing to me in my internal life. Holistic self-care and homeostatic healthcare, which is to say, working with my body to maintain its original homeostasis, the original state that spirit intended my body to operate from. And then structural integrity. And structural integrity being like remembering to do maintenance on all of my life, maintenance on my body, maintenance on the world around me, you know. And then lastly, I came to understanding that this is part of where my roots come from. I see what I term as womb ecology, like where we come from in the womb, corresponding to world ecology. And that's really a foundational level of my values and my goals and my mission, and how all those things work together is to help human beings, humanity, understand that when we look at world ecology, that begins in the roots of womb ecology for every single being born. And so that's just an example of what I came to in that class when I was invited to take a look at what is my spiritual wisdom path. And I know that was a lot, but it will be on a recording. You guys could listen to it again. And now I want to turn to this lovely, lovely example of all of this in the life of Eric Hernandez. Let me just tell you that Eric Hernandez is the 2023 champion of what is called Native American hoop dancing. And you'll learn a whole lot more about that when we watch this video. And go ahead, Vernon, and pull up the next slide. So this is a picture of the Lumbee people. And I took one that highlights the women and one that highlights the men. This is a tribe, the tribe in North Carolina. So clearly here they're preparing for a powwow or maybe one of the hoop dances. Where I got the picture from didn't expressly say, but it was the article that talks about the incredible like gauntlet that tribe has gone through to reestablish themselves with the strength and power that they have as being recognized as, you know, a nation state. And so what you're going to see here is Eric Hernandez hoop. He's going to explain hoop dancing. And at first I had captured the video of he was in a competition when he won as the best of the best. And I thought that was really good. But then Spirit dropped in another video that's a TED Talk where he really gives some education about how he found his way to honoring himself so that he could then bring that message to other people. So Vernon, if you would play that video, please.
The misconceptions and stereotypes about Native Americans made it difficult for me to be proud of who I was. But I knew that if I didn't perform my hoop dance at my school's cultural festival in front of all my classmates, my ancestors' legacy would be forgotten. Have you ever felt like you had to hide a piece of yourself because you were worried about being judged or misunderstood? Well, that was a dilemma I faced when I was 14 years old as my 9th grade school teacher scoured the classroom desperately looking for volunteers for the upcoming cultural festival. Now, as a member of the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina, I had something to share, especially because my Uncle Terry had just taught me a traditional healing ceremony called the hoop dance. But as my teacher's eyes landed on me, my heart began to race out of my chest. I was afraid of what my classmates would think of me claiming my Native heritage. I didn't think that they would understand who I was or what I represented. I mean, what do you think about when you hear the term Native American? Do you picture a half-naked, teepee-living, bow and arrow hunting, feather and fringe-wearing savage? I knew that's what my friends saw. I mean, how could they not? Our history books in Hollywood was telling us that that's what a real Indian is. I was just a kid from San Dimas, California, whose mom happened to be a full-blooded Lumbee. Mom was actually the first ever Native American to compete in the Miss America pageant.
For 1980, Miss Utah is contestant number 28, Miss...
But that didn't matter, because I knew my friends would still not see me as a real Native American. So I didn't raise my hand that day in class to participate in that cultural festival. I remember sitting in my room that night, staring at myself in the mirror, wondering if I should try to conform to these mainstream expectations. Although I was known as the kid at school who always had the biggest smile on his face, as I stared into my own eyes that night, I began to practice my warrior face. I wanted to look, sound, and move how my friends expected me to. And you know what confused me the most? The thing that confused me the most was that everything my Uncle Terry was teaching me through the hoop dance was about moving with grace and beauty, agility and dexterity. The hoop dance was a healing ceremony. It wasn't for hurting. We believe that every time the hoop passed through your body that you added time to your life. And as I pick up this second hoop, we actually see that there's a story being told. It's a story of you and I and our journey through the many stages of life. And as we watch this dance, we see the different plants and animals and how they work in harmony with one another, because they must. They must work in harmony together to form this world that we live in. I came to the realization that night that not only did I have an opportunity, but I had an obligation to educate my classmates on the fact that Native Americans are not only a thing of the past, but we are still here today, and we're not exactly what you think we are. So I showed up that next day to school in clothes a little bit bigger than usual. I remember one of my friends coming up to me and saying, "Eric, why are you wearing a jacket on the hottest day of the year?" I said, "Don't worry about it." But the truth was that I had my handmade hoop dance regalia under my clothes because it was the day of the cultural festival. And as that lunch bell rang, which marked the beginning of the cultural festival, my heart began to race again. But this time it wasn't because of fear or embarrassment. It was because I realized how important it was in this moment that I break down those stereotypes and I show all of my classmates what a modern day Native American looks like. I found the nearest building. I hid behind it. And I removed my oversized clothes. I knew I had to find Miss Johnson, and I had to tell her that I was going to dance. I eventually found her. I gave her my CD, And I said, when I look over at you, press play. I approached the quad, and I got the attention of all my classmates. As I set down my hoops one by one, they began to all look up at me. I looked back at them. I took a deep breath. And I gave Miss Johnson the cue.
I hope you know there's no one else like you.
When I came to school the next day, I was only on campus for about 5 minutes when my best friend runs up to me and says, "Eric, have you seen this?" He hands me the school newspaper, and on the cover is a picture of me with my hoops with the title, Lord of the Rays. Now, next year, after that, they hosted that same festival. Except this time, instead of it being just one day, they had to expand it to a 3-day event because there were so many more students who wanted to volunteer and share their heritage. So not only did I educate my classmates, but I also inspired them to share who they were. I continued to dance over the years, and one day I received a very unexpected phone call from an entertainment company based out of Montreal, Canada, called Cirque du Soleil. They had created a show called Totem, and they asked me to be their lead hoop dancer. I couldn't turn that down, so I ran away with the circus. I performed over 2,500 shows in 19 different countries alongside 47 other performing artists who became like my family. And backstage, there was 17 different languages spoken amongst us. And because we had to work together every single night, we performed 10 shows a week. And we had to embrace each other's cultural differences. As we were traveling through Germany, we got the news about COVID. The show immediately shut down, and that was the end of my journey with my Cirque du Soleil family. But losing my job from Cirque du Soleil was one of the biggest challenges that I've ever faced in my life. But I refused to be defeated. I felt a purpose to continue to share. And now here I am today on the TEDx stage sharing my story with you. As we reflect on my journey, I challenge you to think about the times that you may have held back who you are. Embrace your identity. Embrace your heritage. And embrace your passions. Because you can educate. And you can inspire. And you can make the world a better place. So share your story and culture. And together, we can create a world where diversity is celebrated and everyone feels empowered to share their unique experiences and perspectives. Because we all have something to share. For me, it's the hoop dance. What is it for you? Thank you.
So as we take a deep breath and allow all of that to find its place within each one of us individually and share it collectively, I know that in one way there is nothing more that need be said. And so I simply invite us into closing prayer, recognizing the one right here and right now through the many, through the all of this, infinitely. The presence of spirit expresses, emerges as all that is, time and eternity without end. And as it is the all that is all, it is all I am, the I am that I am. As it is the all that is all, it is the I am of each person within the sound of my voice, resounding the I am that I am, in, through, and as all that is, mind, heart, and soul. And from this alignment, I realize the fulfillment of every aligned thought within this space this day, that there has been a rising and an upliftment and a coming together, a falling together of all cultures, all languages, all paths, all ways, that spirit delights in the opening that says, yes, we can, for we are the ones we have been waiting for. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Thank you, Eric Hernandez. Thank you, Ted. Thank you, everyone here today. I release it, I let it be, and so it is.
And so it is. How wonderful was that? Now's the time for the giving of our gifts. I'm going to be a little silly here. You need to open your wallets, dump them out, send us what you can. Because we are prosperous and we are grateful for all the ways you give to LCSL, and the ways to give are on the slide and in the chat, along with our snail mail address of LCSL, P.O. Box 43958, Louisville, Kentucky 40253. Now please join me in affirming today's affirmation. My prosperity is as plentiful as the pumpkins in the great pumpkin patch. And I pass to Vicky for the blessing of the offering.
And I just invite us to breathe. And as you breathe in, receive all of the gifts of life. As you exhale, release it all in blessing, knowing that it is the continuous circulation of the good in, through, and as ourselves, as LCSL, and in, through, and as each and every person's individual community represented by this little basket that is the multiplier as an expression of spirit. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all your time, talents, and treasures. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Spirit, for the ways in which these time, talents, and treasures prosper all that we are in connection with. And I let it be, and so it is.
Okay, now it's time for our announcements. Our men's group via the Zoom link is this Thursday at 6:30 Eastern. We invite you all to join us there. Next week's speaker is Reverend Carolyn Harville, and the talk is Glow Up, Inner Illumination. We have an important special community meeting about our financial status and how we move forward on Sunday, October 15th, immediately following service. So just
Actually,
stay up with. Go ahead.
Thank you, Tammy, but notice that's the 19th. That's actually next Sunday, October
Isn't that what I
19th.
said? Sorry if I didn't say that.
That's okay. You said the 15th. I
Oh,
think.
yes, the 19th, next Sunday. So please plan to stay after the benediction. And then I pass this on to Vicky, who has something to say about.
So this slide's been up for a while, just because this is a unique opportunity to join Reverend Dr. Jesse Jennings through a Creative Life Center, which is to say this class is not being offered through LCSL at all. I am actually going to be in this class as a student. So far, myself and Maruk are the ones who are going. And any one of you, of course, we would love to have you come with us. It's going to be a heck of a memory. On Monday evenings from November the 10th through February the 9th, there is the charge for the class is $240 total. Reverend Jesse has said that that can be paid in increments. He suggested possibly aiming to pay the first half before class starts, and then the second half by the last week of class. They would like to have it. So if you're interested in taking this course, let me know, and I'll direct you to how you get to the link where you can register.
And please join us for a sharing time after the benediction. Please always remember, don't ever forget that we are magnificent, beautiful people.
Hey, Sarah. You decided not to go?
When I was a boy, each week on Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest, and he would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. And when I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad, miracles don't happen still. Now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything think everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, to finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips, but now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. Used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Child's face, say it's not a testament, that'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come, say it's not a sacrament, I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now.
I invite you to say with me, if you choose, our benediction. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in the grass, the world is too full to talk about. May we listen deeply. May we walk gently. May we respect our shared belonging. Amen.